Let's talk about something we can't outrun, no matter how hard we try. Aging. It's a universal journey, yet one we rarely feel prepared for. Whether you are in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, or standing with me in your 50s and beyond, this conversation is for you. It's about facing the mirror of change. At 57, deep in menopause, I have felt shifts firsthand. My skin isn't quite as elastic. My hair is thinning, a body that doesn't respond like it used to. And for a while, I resisted clinging on to everything. And here's the thing. If you're a perfectionist, guilty as charged, you know the inner critic all too well. Mine whispered all the time, everyone sees these changes, everyone's judging, but the reality, people are far too busy wrestling with their own insecurities to notice ours. Perfection isn't just another mask. It's an attempt to control how we see the world, how the world sees us, even as we insist on changing anyway. Control is just an illusion. Nothing in life stays static. Change is the one constant we can count on. And yet, when the unknown creeps in, our instinct is to control everything, whether it's our schedules or the weather, even how others perceive us. But control is only an illusion, and all we can do is surrender, and that is where peace comes from. Okay, so I'm going to keep it real with you today and talk about something that has been up for me, and I have been grappling with it. This episode might pertain to women that are maybe 50 and up, but actually, let's say this could be a warning or something for the 20 and 30-year-olds and maybe even 40-year-olds who are in a place where you might believe or feel like things may never change in a negative way. You may not even consider that you are going to get old and your hair's going to thin out. So what I want to talk about today, and I'm not saying that I have any of the answers for this because it is something that I am still grappling with myself. So I'm Kim Gross, and I'm the host for Masks Off for People Pleasers and Perfectionists. And today I'm trying to help us take off the perfection mask. As I said a moment ago, this one could be particularly hard for women who are in their 50s and up. You notice that your body is changing. You notice that your skin is changing. You notice that your hair isn't the same. It may be that you had really thick hair. To some people, it may seem like I have a lot of hair. But if you looked at pictures of me even 3 years ago, my hair was much thicker and fuller than it is now. And I can tell that it's thinning, and I can see that I am more gray than I used to be. I used to be able to go 8 weeks in between a color. Now it's like after 4 weeks, I'm really seeing the gray. And I can definitely notice a difference in the thickness of my hair. It's so much harder these days to lose weight. Menopause has just affected so much of my life. If you're wondering, I just turned 57, so I am definitely in menopause. I have had changes in the elasticity of my skin. I have all the extra skin on my neck and so on. Why am I talking about physical appearances? Well, because number one, as a perfectionist, we can be so self-critical. We can be so hard on ourselves. And we may even go to the place of feeling like people are looking at us and judging us all the time. Most of the time, people are not paying attention to the things that we think they are judging us for. They're caught up in their own that they don't even consider looking at you and thinking about all the things that are wrong with you because they're too busy criticizing themselves. This is what we do as humans. We're judging, we're comparing, and especially for people who struggle with perfectionistic tendencies. We have such high standards for ourselves. It's exhausting because we can't meet the high expectations. And when we don't, we're so self-critical. What I want to address here is there's another layer beneath the perfectionism, beneath the looks and everything else. The deeper layer is that we are holding on to something. We're attached to perhaps a way we used to look. For example, I just said a few moments ago that even 3 years ago, my profile pictures, if you looked at my hair was a lot longer and a lot fuller. And so I may go to this place of wanting to stay attached and hold on to the way my hair used to be. In reality, the truth is that nothing stays the same. Things are changing all the time. We are not the same person we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. We're not the same person that we were yesterday. We're not even the same as we were an hour ago. Things are constantly changing. And we may be unaware of it until all of a sudden you look in the mirror, holy crap, my hair is really gray, or holy crap, my skin is blah, blah, blah. Or even, wow, I can't believe how much my body hurts me in the morning when I wake up. That never used to happen. We're so used to being creatures of habit. We're so used to wanting everything to be the same and to be familiar. Why is that? Part of it is our hardwiring. Back in the cave days, it was imperative for people to do the same thing over and over to stay safe. If they ventured off into a new area, especially alone, there was a chance that they could get eaten by a wild animal or lost and not be able to have food. They had to do the same old in order to stay safe. For survival, they had to do what was familiar. And so we're wired that way. It's our primitive brain, our limbic system that keeps us doing things that are habitual or expecting the same. That's why people are so afraid of uncertainty. So then what do we do when we're afraid of the unknown? We're not willing to live in the unfamiliar or to do something new, wanting the same old, our habits, our routines. We're very, very routine oriented, most of us, very structured. We like to know what's coming around the corner. We like to predict with certainty that certain things are going to happen to keep us feeling safe. The reality is that we have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. Things are constantly changing. Most of us will age, live to our 60s, 70s, 80s, or whatever, and then eventually die. That's the majority of us. It's just inevitable. It's going to happen. And then somehow when we start showing the signs of aging, I know this is true for me. This is what I've been grappling with. It's like, what the heck? Why is this happening? I'm in resistance to my hair thinning. I'm in resistance to my body hurting more. I'm in resistance to all the changes that are taking place in my body. What did I think? I was going to feel like I did in my 40s forever? I think I did think that. I at least wanted that. We're not used to what's unfamiliar. We want things to be the same. We are afraid of what's around the corner. We're not good with uncertainty. And as a result of all of that, we go into a place of trying to control everything. Ultimate God-fearing power to control. Like we even want to control the weather. I know I do. The traffic, like when I'm in traffic, it's like, why am I in traffic? Well, it's early in the morning when everybody's going to work. What do you expect, Kim? There's going to be traffic. And not only that, but we are also creatures, not only creatures of habit, but we want our comfort. We want what's comfortable. Again, going back to what's familiar. So we want things to be easeful for us, not hard. And going back to our controller, I call it the inner controller. Our inner controller then tries to take over, thinking and believing that he or she has this power to control things. We do all these different tactics, like especially going back to looks, right? Color our hair. We put treatments on our scalp to have fuller hair. We do crazy diets. We exercise like crazy to try to keep our bodies staying the same. Surgeries to help our face look younger. We do threading, we do eyelashes, we do all types of things to try to control the aging process, what's going to be inevitable. And look, who knows? I haven't tried all those things. Maybe they work. Quite honestly, it does make me look like I'm younger. And I would say, great, tell me about them, number one. And number two, inevitably, it's going to catch up to us. We cannot control the way that we age. Honestly, other than like Jane Fonda, and I don't know how the heck she does it. I don't know if it's just her genetics or what, but she's maybe nearing close to 90. And she honestly does look like she is not aging. So is it possible? Maybe. But those are far and few between. Most of us that are in menopause, that are at this place, are seeing the signs. We're seeing the changes in our physical appearance because everything is changing. And at the end of the day, even Jane Fonda is changing. Things are changing for her. She is not the same. Her body is not the same as it was when she was 40 or 50. And we try to control all of this. That's the point. We try to control people's reactions to us. We try to control what people are thinking, how they show up for us. We're trying to control the weather. We plan an outdoor wedding. And again, if you're maybe a 20-year-old, you're young and you're planning on getting married, think about what I'm saying. And you're like, oh, I really, really want to have an outdoor wedding. I've always dreamed of having it outdoors. And then you plan for it outdoors without a plan B. And then nature decides to do its thing. Mother Nature says, you think you're going to have your wedding outside today? I have something else planned for you. It's going to rain. And then all of a sudden we're freaking out like, why is it raining? How could it be raining on my wedding day? As if nature's supposed to listen to you. As I share these examples, I am being a bit facetious here because I want to underline and highlight the idea of how much we try to control everything. We try to control people, places, and things. And I realize it's hard. It is so hard to let go. And, it's an important concept to be able to have. It's an important principle to be able to live by. But it is by no means easy. It's very simple to say it, but a whole other thing to actually implement letting go.
Hey, it's Kim here, interrupting your regularly scheduled podcast episode to let you know about an opportunity to go deeper into this work. I invite you to head over to Amazon.com and pick up your copy of my book, Free to Be: A Pathway to Inner Liberation. If you are looking to unhook from people-pleasing and perfectionistic patterns, if you're looking to have a better way of identifying your patterns and then how you can unhook so you can be free to step outside your comfort zone, free to have more meaningful relationships in your life, free to be your true self without hiding behind a mask any longer. If you desire any of this, then I encourage you to pick up your copy. And if you enjoy my book as much as I loved writing it, please go on over and leave a review on Amazon. You can leave a star review or written review. Now back to your regularly scheduled podcast episode.
Another way of thinking about this is surrendering to what is, not what we want. We have to be mindful of when we're in resistance, because that's a surefire way to cause suffering for us. If I'm in resistance to the fact that my body is changing and aging, and every time I'm in resistance to it, I'm creating suffering for myself. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed. I'm judging. I'm feeling shameful. Why does this have to be? Why is my body changing? It's not doing what I want it to do anymore. When I'm in that energy, when I'm in that primal state, I'm causing suffering for myself. If I can get myself to a more powerful state, which I am there at times, I can speak to this with you because I'm not always in a primal state. I may have been lately. I'm not going to lie. That's why I came on. I said, I'm being honest. I have been struggling. But when I can pull myself out of it and I can pull myself back into a primal state, I know this for sure. That when I am able to surrender to the as is, I surrender to the fact that things are changing. They're always changing in my body. Life is changing. The weather is changing. It's beautiful right now, and I so want to hold on to the beautiful weather that I have been experiencing here in upstate New York, but I know that around the corner, the weather is going to change and the leaves are going to fall. It's going to get cold, and I want to hold on to it, but it's always changing. When I can pull myself away and out of that state and I surrender, I allow whatever is meant to be. I know that in those states, I am way more peaceful. I am lighter. I have more joy. I trust the universe. I trust myself. All is good. All is well. I have more gratitude. I'm more open. I'm more spacious. I'm in a more powerful state when I'm able to surrender and let go rather than forcing, manipulating, and trying to make something different happen, or just plain old complain and whine about why things aren't the way I want them to be, and just go moment by moment and live in the present moment. Be present. If I can just be here right now, I don't have to worry or fall into the rabbit hole of why I can't be where I was 5 years ago, 3 years ago. My body's so much different from 2 years ago, certainly 10 years ago. Instead of being down the rabbit hole of why I can't be that way, I stay in this present moment. I'm not in the past, and I'm not worrying about where I'm headed, because I absolutely don't know where I'm headed. I can think I know, but I don't know, nor do you know where you're headed or what tomorrow is going to bring. We truly don't know that. And we can just stay in this present moment. So much peace, abundance, joy, and being centered and calm. I'll go back to the inner controller. The reason why we have such strong inner controllers is because so many of us have experienced a lack of safety, a dysregulated nervous system. If you're listening to this episode and identify with people pleasing or perfectionistic tendencies, I can say with certainty that on some level, you have had a dysregulated nervous system. You have not felt safe your life for most of your life or in your body. The reason that you started to perfect and please is because you were trying to control other people's behaviors, reactions, and feelings towards you or thoughts about you. You were trying to avoid judgment, criticism, rejection, abandonment, displeasing somebody, having someone yell at you. You were trying to avoid failing. You were trying to avoid feeling not enough or unworthy. And that's why you started to cope with people pleasing and perfectionistic tendencies. I can pretty much guarantee that your body has not felt safe, that your nervous system has been dysregulated and perhaps even locked into place for a long time. And you developed an inner controller, decided subconsciously at a young age that the way you were going to navigate the world was to try to control everything. But the reality is, it may have seemed like it worked on some level, but the truth is, we cannot control people, places, or things. I know I have done it. I've tried to control people in my life. I've tried to control people's reactions towards me, people's opinions of me. I've tried to get people to like me, follow me, and subscribe. I've tried to lose weight to be liked. I twisted myself into a pretzel, and I've gone to the ends of the earth to try to have people be a certain way toward me. And while maybe it seemed like it did, and maybe sometimes it worked, at the end of the day, it really didn't. And I was only harming myself. And you are harming yourself if you're doing any of those things, because you're not feeling safe in your body. Your nervous system is not regulated. So you can't be at home in your body. You don't feel at peace in your body. And your relationships most likely are just not that fulfilling. You're not feeling fulfilled. You're not feeling like you can be free to be your full self. You're hiding in some way. You're holding back in some way. And that could be at your job. It could be with your boss. It could be in your business. If you're an entrepreneur, you might be holding back. You might be holding back with your friends because you don't want to disappoint them. So you see how your inner controller is really trying to drive the bus and is in charge. And this is a very old, outdated part of you that is no longer serving you if you want to have the type of life where you are so free to be yourself no matter who you're with, that you feel so present that everything you do in life, for the most part, you love doing it. You love life. You love what you're doing. You love the people that you're with. You're feeling grateful, spacious. You don't have all the stress that you used to carry before, because let's face it, it's so stressful when you have people pleasing and perfectionistic tendencies. Many of you probably have some type of chronic illness, whether it's migraines, joint pain, IBS, gut issues, hormonal dysregulation, you name it, because you're so stressed out. If you are really wanting a different kind of life, and you wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you didn't want something to be different in your life. So if you're wanting it and you have that desire, it's key to learn the nuances of your inner controller and how to unhook from the patterns that are keeping you stuck, and learning how to do things like surrendering, letting go, how to be more present. And it takes time. This is not an overnight process. If you're looking for a quick fix, like a magic wand, trust me, that was another thing my inner controller tried to do, was like, I was going to take my magic wand and I was just going to like wave it and everything was going to be all rainbows, sunshine, and unicorns. And that was not the case, as you know. If you're wanting it, you have to do the work. It takes time, but I can promise that when you do it, when you learn how to unhook from your patterns, you learn how to unmask, you learn how to surrender more, you learn how to be in the present moment, you learn how to feel your feelings in order to heal. You learn how to integrate all the parts of yourself that you judge, that you criticize, that you cut off from, that you ignore, wish didn't exist. When you learn how to do all those things, you can start to take some real radical responsibility to change and create the changes that you want in your life, plus change yourself. That is when you will be free to be your true self. I'm excited to share that I have a big announcement, which is that I now have my 6-lesson digital course, online course, available live on my website, kimgrosscoaching.com. You can go and check it out. There are 6 modules, and it is based on my 5-step power pathway, which is the framework that I'm talking about. It's the framework you can use to help you unhook from your patterns, to unmask, to be your true self, to learn how to surrender, to learn how to just have more freedom. And it's all available in the modules. There are worksheets to go along with each lesson, each module, and there's a bonus at the end as well. I invite you to check it out on my website. If you're interested, you can enroll right then and there. Click the button, pay, and you're right in it. It's a self-paced, so you could do one lesson every week, or you can go through it one every 2 weeks. Or if you want to go faster, you can go faster. So I'm excited to have you check that out. You can also pick up my book, Free to Be, A Pathway to Inner Liberation, which is available on Amazon. And the book is a good partner to the course because it goes into more of my story on how I went through all the 5 steps and how I unhooked from people pleasing and perfectionism, and is a nice add-on to the digital course. But you don't need to have read the book in order to take the course. I really appreciate you showing up today. It was helpful for me to have this conversation with you out loud. It was helpful for me to remind myself that when I get into the place of poo-hoo about my thinning hair and my grays and my face changing, that I have the framework to take myself through it so that I can come back to a place of 1, grace, 2, compassion, 3, acceptance, that nothing stays the same. And the more I surrender, the more peace I will have, and the same is true for you. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Kim Gross here. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Masks Off for People Pleasers and Perfectionists. I invite you to hop on over to my website, kimgrosscoaching.com. Right there on the front page, there's a quiz for people pleasers and perfectionists. You can find out if you have tendencies. You can also get into my newsletter where you will be given valuable content every week on different topics I share here in the podcast. And if you really did enjoy this episode, if you found it helpful, if you found it valuable, please go to, if you're on YouTube, go and subscribe. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, then I invite you to leave a review. You can even do a star review. It doesn't have to be a written review. If you know of someone who can benefit from this podcast or this particular episode, please share it with them. I'll see you next time.